Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh, it's got the same background as before. I'm not sure. You like this background or not? We need something more festive, maybe. Today is December the 12th, and I'm here early because I have a gig tonight. Normally I gig on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. They've switched me tonight with tomorrow night. So I thought rather than go on tomorrow, I'll go on today. And then that way, if people tune in to watch later on, there will be a video up. It just won't be live. So I hope you're doing well. I'm still, am I still waking up? I shouldn't be, right? Such is the life of a musician. Let's say hi, Patsy Smith. It's freezing and miserable in Suffolk. Well, it's cold here, but I wouldn't say it's miserable. Maybe it is. Rexomatic, greetings from Phoenix. Good to see you, buddy. And David Belcher. Good morning, afternoon, everyone in the chat. I hope your week is off to a good start. Yes, Brad, how you doing? How you doing, Brad? Let me know how you are. It's December the 12th. It's the 12th day of Christmas. My true love sent to me a custom shop Martin in a pear tree. Is that how it goes? You know, you can buy advent calendars now that have like whiskey in them. I was thinking maybe someone should make an advent calendar that has guitar. No, not guitars. I don't know. Think of something in a musician's advent calendar. The key to the guitar case, maybe. All right, I'm going to start off with some news and update what I've been up to. First of all, I'm doing something new this week, and I'm going to see how it goes. So this week, I was contacted, as many YouTubers are lately, contacted to do reviews. I normally say no. I normally say no to doing certain reviews because I really want to talk about the gear that really excites me. I've been so happy lately. I've talked about the new Rain song. I'm really genuinely excited by it. I've talked about the Everse 8 speaker. Really impressed by it. Really excited by it. I've talked about stuff that I want to. I don't want to really talk about stuff just for the sake of it or just to make like filler content. But this company is cool, and I like what they're doing, and I like what they said to me. They said, "Can you make us a review?" I said, "Sure." And we're going to do a giveaway. And again, I don't normally do giveaways because I feel like, for many reasons, giveaways, I'm not sure about them. I mean, I entered them myself. I entered one recently. I won't say which one I entered, but they didn't post the winner. So what's that all about? I don't, that's my feeling about it. You let me know what you think about it in the chat. I am going to do this one to see how it goes. And this will be good because I'm going to make the video. This is a pedal that's very accessible, very affordable, and available worldwide on Amazon. And then you're not going to have to be a subscriber or anything. You're just going to have to leave a comment in the video when I post it. And I will select a winner at random using the random comment generator. And then the winner will receive a pedal. And the great thing for me is I don't have to ship it. It's only going to be in America, Canada, England, and Europe, by the way. That's the locations. But Sonic Cake are going to send that pedal out to the winner. So I don't have to ship it. I don't have to worry about people, things not arriving or having a problem. So that's really cool. And I want to say thank you to them for doing this. And I hope that they say thank you to me once they see my video, because I haven't opened it yet. I've just got one of these. I asked for the acoustic pedal. It's called the Sonic Wood. Okay, it's an $80 pedal. And as everybody knows, I use the Voice Live 3. I have pedals that I use already. I don't for a second think this will replace what I use in my gigs, but I think this is cool. It looks well made. It's got the basic EQ, a chorus, a delay, and a reverb. So I think for certain people this will be interesting. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to try it. So, yeah, you can let me know after this is done what you think, if you think I should do more of those or less of those, or how you think it went. But I thought it'd be a nice thing to do. It's coming up to the holidays. Give something back, completely fulfilled by the company. And I think it's really nice that they offered to do that. And who knows, I might really like it. But I'll look forward to making that review and demo. I'm going to keep an open mind. Because, as you know, I have very high taste, very high taste. I'm very fussy. Let's just say that. So that'll be coming up hopefully this week. Since I only have I have a show tonight and a show on Thursday. I have lots of time this week. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot a video with Dave again about that new guitar for their channel, because I want to help them out and just make like a little 5-minute video. Basically just ask the questions about the new guitar, and they can put that on their channel, and then maybe that'll get me some viewers back onto my channel. So I think that'll be a nice bit of cross promotion. And yeah, and let me know if you've tried the Sonic Cake stuff. I mean, there's so many pedals now, as I always say. There's millions of these pedals, and some of them are really good. Like the NuX stuff is really good. Mostly. There's a few of the NuX products that I didn't like. Mostly the wireless stuff, and I'll talk about that later on. They've got another product coming out. The wireless stuff doesn't work for me, but the tones, the actual tones, the acoustic IR tones are some of the best I've heard. The electric tones are excellent for the money, and the analog NuX pedal that I reviewed a long time ago was really good. So their stuff is up there with all the other brands, in my opinion. So you do get surprised sometimes. Okay, Thomas, how you doing? Good to see you. And David said, according to my whiskey advent calendar, there's only 2 days until yeah. That's what happened. Oh look, I've got a cat hair on the microphone. That's what happened to me. My chocolate advent calendar says that today is Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. That's funny. Oh, I did a bunch of Sonic Cake reviews on Amazon last year. Surprisingly good stuff. What does that mean? You wrote reviews on Amazon about the product? That's good. I'm glad you said that. Like I said, I'm gonna make I don't want to say honest review. That implies I would make a dishonest review, but I'm gonna certainly. I'm not gonna like say, well, this is good for the money. I'm gonna say I'm gonna compare this to the stuff that I'm currently using. Like, does the preamp allow me to shape the tone in a good way? Does it add any noise? Are the effects useful? I'll tell you right now, I'm not really a fan of chorus, so that could be that. I mean, and that's 1/4 of the pedal. It does have an XLR out though, so you could use that as a preamp as well, which is kind of cool. But I guess for me, it's really how good is the EQ, how good is the reverb, how good is the delay. It has tap tempo, so yeah, we'll see. It'll be a fun thing. Dr. McFarland, how you doing? Thomas Moore won a Jackson Audio Bloom compressor from Andy Wood. I was shocked. It came from American Musical Supply. Yeah, I don't know. I've entered loads of giveaways. I never win them. I'm sure people do. And the other thing and the problem with giveaways is that sometimes people enter just to win the thing, and sometimes people enter to win the thing that don't even play the guitar, which I don't think that's good. You know, just to win it and then flip it, especially on the more expensive products, right? And then the other thing is sometimes you win or you don't win, and then you're disappointed. So I don't know. Brad says, not too bad. I'm being looked after well at the care home. That's good to hear, Brad. Glad you're doing okay. Graham said, okay, so people have had these pedals. Good. I've had the acoustic one and the blues one, both decent. I replaced the acoustic Sonic 8 with the NuX Stageman floor. Yeah, I've reviewed that one as well. Oh, you've got it. Okay, good. I wrote reviews on Amazon about the products. I keep the acoustic wood pedal in Florida. Okay, so we got people here using them. That's it. That's encouraging. Thomas Moore says, I'm mixed on reviews. I bought pedals with great reviews and great demos and didn't like them, so they went back. Well, there's two things about that. One is that nothing, and this isn't a cop-out, nothing works for everybody. I could say that this product is the best thing ever made, and it could be missing a feature that you need in your show, right? And that's a deal breaker for you. So that's, I get that. I get that. But then there's the whole thing of reviews just being, just like leaving stuff out. I've seen people do that. Like, I've got something and thought, well, that's not right on a technical level. Why was that not mentioned in other reviews? It's almost like they just didn't mention that part of the product. So I don't know. Look, it's a minefield out there. Why do I have my own channel? Because I want to put my own thoughts and opinions out there. That's exactly why I have it, right? So, but always bear that in mind. Look at as many reviews as you can, and then You have to try it yourself, which is why we're lucky in America. We can send stuff back so easily. The thing about... what was I going to say? I just had a thought. Oh, yeah. How often have you looked at reviews of a product, any product, that doesn't have to be musical, and you've been like, oh, good review, good review, good review. Everything's a good review. I'm going to buy this. And then there's somewhere in the depths of the internet forums, there's one comment where you think, oh, that would be a real deal breaker for me. And that always seems to be the thing that happens to me. That is the thing that comes true. But in all the other videos and the stuff that's up front, I don't see that issue. I don't see it, but I see it buried away somewhere in some forum, and then that happens to me, and I don't want it. That's happened to me several times. Kind of crazy. I think I also reviewed a similar multi-effect for electric guitar, rock version, and thought it was pretty good too. Okay, leave it in Florida too. Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited then. I reviewed some of their single type pedals, and some were better than others, and within them, some things were better than others. Excellent bang for the buck. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff like that now. There's so much affordable stuff that is great bang for the buck. And I could then say, well, it doesn't have everything I need. Like on that Sonic 8 pedal, I want to have a boost. I don't want the chorus. But then you could say on the Quad Cortex, there's something that I want that's not there as well. So it's not fair to only say that about the more affordable stuff. So Rafa bought another silent guitar. He bought the steel version. He now has the steel silent guitar, and he also has the nylon silent guitar. I'm going to show you what we're talking about in case you don't know what we're talking about. And let us know your thoughts on these in the chat. So he just got one of these. And what color is yours? I've got the tobacco one. Here we go. $729 now. So yeah, he was saying to me, what do you think of these guitars? And I said, well, if you buy two of them, you'll have one whole guitar. That was a bad joke. But he says no one cared. I've got some thoughts on that, though. Let me see. I played yesterday with the silent guitars, and guess what? No one cared. It sounded great into the mixer. No need to carry the Helix for acoustic sound, so I'm not using extra effects. Right, because the silent guitar has reverb and chorus built in to the guitar. That is a good thing. Obviously not as good as having the pedal on the floor, but as a grab and go. Actually, I often forget about that. I often forget how the silent guitars have that built into them, which is a cool feature, I have to say. Let me just make sure I can see myself here. There we go. So the only thing I want to, the only real world thing I'll say about the silent guitars is I used to play at a venue where a guy played the silent guitar because he was more of an electric player, and people at the venue said to me, the guitar looks funny. And I took that as a negative, like, oh, okay, people want to see a traditional looking guitar. They don't want to see a silent guitar like this. But then again, on the other hand, I told a story where I played a party a few months ago. I took the Cole Clark, and I took this as the backup, and I had it on a stand behind me. I wasn't even thinking. I never even do that at gigs. I had the stand with me, so I put it on the stand. And this kid came over and said, "Excuse me, what's that funny looking guitar back there?" And I said, "Oh, that's a Yamaha silent guitar." And they said, "Oh, that looks really cool." So I got it out and I said, "Here you go, look, check this out." And I played it for the rest of the gig. And they loved it. It almost made the gig. So I'm kind of flipped on this guitar because I feel like some maybe fancy older venues where you show up to play a wedding reception or something might not like, would they? I don't know. They might not like it. Maybe they're expecting to see you there with a big old dreadnought, you know. But then again, anything with younger people, I think they think these are cool. Like, oh, that looks really cool. So I don't know. But I do like the fact they don't feed back. I like the fact they're portable. I like the fact that they are light. I like a lot of things about these guitars. I think they're way ahead of their time. I don't think they sound incredible. With their IR technology is very old, and I think they could do it better now. But it certainly sounds better than any under-saddle pickup out there at the moment, you know, because it's got that IR technology. So I do really like them. I think they've got their place. I did a couple of gigs of mine where it didn't sound very good. Had a weird thing with the sound. I don't know. It put me off a little bit. But then again, I used it after that. It sounded very good. So I don't know. I think they need to make a new and updated version. I think they're great for certain players. And I think they're very portable. And they have a headphone input so you can practice in silence. So that's actually a really good topic, isn't it? Should guitars look traditional or should guitars look quirky and modern? I think most acoustic players you speak to, 7 out of 10 would probably say they should look traditional. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters as long as you enjoy the gig. And then he asked me a question. What sort of system, wireless system, should I get for my guitar? None. Friend of mine said he just got the Line 6 system. Again. Because he had one that was cutting out. And these are exploding, apparently. So they've made a new version that hopefully doesn't explode. Not explode, catch fire, something like that. And you know it's the new version because it's got the grey transmitter here. Like that. So that's the Mark II, you see. So this is pretty cool. Well, I tried one and it kept cutting out. But if this didn't cut out in your area because of the local Wi-Fi traffic, this would be worth getting. Because you simply plug it in here, especially if you've got a pedal board. You leave this plugged in on the pedal board, you plug in the transmitter, and it charges it and syncs it every time. So it's very convenient. But I just had so many problems. I've had so many problems with all wireless stuff in New York in this apartment. Not all. The one thing I haven't had troubles with, I'd say this has worked 99% of the time, which is, I think, very good for a wireless system, is this. And this is so therefore this is the one that I always recommend to people. There's a couple of caveats though. $319 for these two little bugs seems like a lot of money. On the other hand, they're very portable. You do have to charge each of them up, and they last for about 4 hours. So that may or may not be long enough depending on how long your gigs are. I think for Rafa's gigs that'll be okay. I think he does like 245 minutes. That'd be perfect for him. The only thing I'll say about these is, while they worked perfectly, I have the microphone version, and that died on me a gig halfway, in 50% of the time that it should have done, and that really annoyed me, and they wouldn't replace it. I had to buy another one, and I didn't want to buy another one, but I bought another one because I do use it all the time. I use it professionally, and I actually got that one from Guitar Center so I could get their warranty. I don't tell people to buy warranties, but in this case I wanted the warranty. So this is good, but you've got to bear in mind they have these little batteries inside, and once the battery life starts to die, you can't easily just change the battery. I'm sure you can, but I don't know how to. You have to really, they're disposable. You really have to buy another one. But that's a shame because these work so well. They work well, they're portable, they're really great. That's the only thing that I would recommend someone buys, because they've been so good with me, and they sound really good as well. So they're a bit of a hassle, but they are good. And I use the microphone version a lot. So I actually keep it in a little pack with a rechargeable battery, and so I can charge it at the gig before someone sings. So these are the ones that I recommend, but not necessarily the best option for you, Rafa. Then again, if you don't have a pedal board, you want to just have something to plug in and go, maybe you should consider this one. But I don't like that the XLR one had problems after a couple of years, and that was through the pandemic when I wasn't using them anyway. And I don't like that they wouldn't replace them because they were outside the warranty. But I still bought more because they're really good, and they're the best thing for me to use at a wedding or something. So sometimes you have to read between the lines. I came very close to buying an X5 U4 in-ear monitor, so I read between the lines about too much potential issues due to the 2.4. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that one. I didn't like that it wasn't stereo. And I have had problems with their guitar wireless 2.4, so that scared me a little bit. I had one of the early silent guitars. It was horrible playing wise. I hope the new ones are much better. Mine had to be set up well. I remember that. I always get comments on my Rick Turner Renaissance guitars. And yes, you can't smell the silent guitar. That's one problem with that. How does it compare with the Variax acoustic? It's very different. I mean, first of all, the problem is you can't buy the Variax acoustic anymore. And the Variax guitar has the modeling. This doesn't. This has the impulse response and some effects, whereas the Variax had the different guitar models. What I think they should do is, I think this is my idea for Yamaha. Make another one of these silent guitars and incorporate the Variax technology. Give us a completely silent guitar, no feedback issues, built-in effects, built-in impulse responses, and built-in guitar modeling and sound. So we can have like a mandolin, a sitar, a dreadnought, a small body guitar. Give us all that in one guitar that's made by Yamaha on Line 6. That's my wish. Because I feel like, as much as I like traditional instruments, I feel like I want to see a guitar now that's just way out there. Even more so than the Acoustasonic, right? That's a good start, but give me something that is truly modern, truly for the stage. Solid body, no chance of feedback, like with this one. Give me the built-in impulse response to make the guitar sound incredible through the PA. Give me built-in reverb and effects that sound really good, and give me the built-in tuning and body styles of the Variax in one instrument. And then that is the instrument that you take out to play at your gigs. Maybe even make it wireless. Just go all out, right? And then that is the gig that you take out to you. That's the guitar you take to gigs, because that's a true gigging guitar. That's what I really want to see at some point. Julian, how you doing? Good to see you. Only 3.5 stars for the Sennheiser. Okay, let's see what's going on then, because I've had a lot of experience with this thing. Let's see if I agree with the reviews on Sweetwater. Let's see how accurate these are. This will be fun. It'll be fun for me, maybe not for you. So look, good reviews, good reviews, good reviews. Let's see if any of these reviews tally up with what I said my experience was. Now, this is all great so far, but they're in order, of course. So let's get to the more negative ones. Okay, so almost perfect. For some musicians, my first concern is the design of the quarter-inch output jack. I got no problem with that. I had no issue with that failing. Second concern is the charging components. Only includes one charging cable, but there are two things to charge. Well, you can buy a dual USB cable on Amazon for $5, so I don't think that's fair either. So, they aren't easy to synchronize. That's not true. You just have to turn them both on at the same time. Sorry, this is my experience. I'm not being a jerk. This is my experience. Good range. Yes, I agree. Anyone putting two charge? Yeah, it'd be nice to have a splitter cord in the pack, but you can buy one on Amazon, like I said, very cheaply. Now this I agree with. Look, I've had mine for almost a year from the outset. Not from the outset. The transmitter is dead after that. That you should have sent that back. You should have had that exchanged. That's not the way it's supposed to be. The battery life is rated at 4 hours. You should be getting 4 hours from day one. But obviously, like a cell phone, over the years, or weeks or months or whatever, that life is going to deteriorate, right? Of how much it holds the charge. I was told to send it back, but I never did, as I believe many are having this problem. I got through a gig by using a power pack. Well, no, you should. Yeah, why didn't you send it back? So I don't agree with that. I got these as a replacement for my discontinued pack. My old system worked great, but not rechargeable. I got a lot of tone suck. I had no tone suck on mine. I sent the first set back because it quit working. Again, you get with battery and rechargeable digital stuff, you get bad ones. You have to just send them back. Charging, I never did though on mine. I have to say that. Charging issue. This thing does work as advertised. Replacing the X5 that was driving me nuts with dropouts. Yeah, mine dropped out too. The issue is with the charging cable. You get one. So a lot of people don't like that you don't get a Y. You know why that is? Because X5 gave you a Y cable, and everyone bought the X5 first. And then they're like, why is there not a Y cable in this one? Which is fair enough. But you just buy one, can't you? Actually, I don't think it's easy to find a USB-C Y cable, but I'm sure you can get one if you look hard enough. But yeah, they should include that in the box. Fair enough. But it's not a deal breaker for me. Now, this looks like it might be the comment. I purchased a set of these in October 2019. I also purchased the Boss. I tried that Boss, but that cut out for me. The advertised battery charge per use for the Sennheiser is 4+ hours. Yeah, 4 hours. Right. The Boss is 6 to 10. That is much better, to be fair. But 4 hours is acceptable, but not as it starts to fall below that. It's now been 27 months of at least weekly use of both brands, and the Sennheiser batteries are dying. Yes, they do. And they don't let you change them. There is a video online where you can change them, but it doesn't look that easy. They now only last about 1.5 hours. That's what happened to me. The Boss is still lasting for 4 hours. Yeah. So that is what happened to me. And they need to figure that out. They need to allow a way for the user to replace the battery. I would happily buy new batteries and change the battery inside every year if they allowed me to do that. But you have to throw the whole thing away, which I think is okay if it lasts for 5 years. But if it only lasts for a year or two, that's no good. Like I said, full disclaimer, I still use them because they are so reliable, they sound so good, and they're so portable. I still use them despite that fact. But like I said, with the XLR one that I use for wedding speeches, I did buy the warranty from Guitar Center, so in 3 years' time, they'll replace it if it's having that issue. And I never buy warranties. But a lot of these people got one with bad battery life out of the box. That was just a defective unit. They should have gone back straight away. You should be getting 4 hours from the start. So I don't understand that. Sounds like they got some bad ones. And everyone hates the fact there's only one charging cable. I mean, bad reception if you walk 50 feet away. I think that's, I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you're walking through a wall or something, doesn't it? And they recommend the X5. The X5 just didn't work for me. Sadly, I wanted it to. And it also had a lot of noise in the signal as well, whereas these ones are very clean. They sound amazing. So it's all down to the battery life here and the negative points. Which, yeah, I said I agree. They either need to make that battery better and refine the product, or they need to allow the user to easily remove the battery and insert a new one that you can buy from Sennheiser. Because if that was like $30, I would do that every year because it's such a great unit. Like I said, I'm still using mine despite the battery issues. That's how good it is. But it is a thing. And I also wonder, though, with other companies. I mean, like the X5, surely over the years, the X5 does the same, doesn't it? I've never had one long enough to know. But I think it's worth the compromise. But when I went to throw away the XLR version, I did feel terrible. In fact, I didn't throw it away. I kept it. I've still got the old one because it would work for an emergency for like a 10-minute speech or something. But it's disappointing. You know what I should do? I should probably try to open it up and change the battery. Because maybe I can do it. And then there would be no problem because you can just buy a new battery cheaply online. Obviously, it won't be covered by the warranty, but that could be an option. All right, let's see what people are saying over here. I've lost my cursor. Here we go. And I want to show you a new product that's coming out soon. Sound playability, not looks. No one comes to see one's guitar at a gig, do they? No, I don't think so, but you do get comments. Like if you have a really wacky looking guitar, you will get comments about it. Now, would they not book you again over that? I don't think so. But you do get, people do look. Sometimes people look at the visuals of your guitar and how you look more than how you sound, don't they? I wonder if we could be able to have a full wireless rig, XLR mic, XLR for the speakers and guitar. Yeah, I've made that video. I made a video where I had a rechargeable amp, and then the guitar went in with the wireless, and the mic went in with the wireless, so everything was wireless. It's cool, and a lot of players do it, but you know, I just feel like maybe you're asking for trouble because you got to charge all that stuff. You've got all the wireless things together. There's more chance of interference, and nothing ever sounds as good as a cable, really, or as reliable as a cable. Just use a cable, unless you need to. I always say to people, if you don't need to be wireless, then just use a cable. That's my opinion. What Variax silent guitar would be great. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I wouldn't touch a wireless that lasts less than 5 or 6 hours. Many gigs are 4 hours plus set up soundcheck. I agree. You see, in England they do 245s, 345, so that's fine. But yeah, my longest gig, my during the week is 4 hours. 4 hours with a break, but I never turn the wireless off. So by the end of the gig, I'm always thinking, oh, is it going to die? Is it going to die? So I agree. A wireless should be 6 hours. Having said that, whenever I did use the XL, you know, the system we just looked at, whenever I did use that at the 4-hour gig, it didn't die on me. I was able to turn it on, play the gig, not turn it off, and get through the last song. But of course, there's always that little bit of stress. Sergio, how you doing? My cheap Amazon 5.8 gigahertz came with a wide charging cable. I still use them, but they boost the signal in a way it isn't great with my modelers. Is that the one that I told you about? Those cheap ones that are excellent. Use the 5 gigahertz band. That was one of my most watched videos. But I'll say the same thing again. They do affect the tone. The only one that hasn't affected my tone so far is the XSW. Merry Christmas, buddy. Good to see you. Here we go. Question. You seemed super excited about the Everse 8, but I haven't seen anything else from you. What's your experience now, please? Yes, I agree. I need to do a follow-up full review. So let me give you I'll give you a little mini review. I really like it. I felt like there was a connectivity issue when I first unboxed it, which there isn't. You just have to let it pair every time. It takes about 15 seconds. That's no problem. I've had no connectivity issues. I like the app. I like the way the app works. I like the way the speaker sounds. I like the way the features work. I don't feel that I'm waiting on any features to be added or fixed the way I was with the JBL speakers. I also do feel like it's slightly louder than the other speakers. If I was buying a system today, I would buy the Everse 8 over the other systems. The Bose S1 has the physical controls and is still the absolute smallest. And the JBL has 3 inputs. But would you ever plug 3 musicians into one of those little speakers? The Everse, for me, is the perfect balance. It looks professional. It's got a bit more headroom. It's got the app control. You can control it from the device, although it doesn't have the physical controls like the Bose does. But the app works so easily that it's not a problem for me. And once it's set up, it remembers the settings anyway, so you can just reuse it again. So the Everse is my favorite. Why haven't I spoke about it much? Because I don't use it very much. At the gigs I play at, they have a QSC K8.2. So of course I'm going to use that. I'm not going to take the Everse when they've got that speaker, because I'm already taking a pedal that I plug into that speaker. And if I have a private party, I will usually take my own 8.2. Last week, I was supposed to play fully acoustic, but they said just bring an amp and try to sneak it in. So I took the Bose. The reason I took the Bose, honestly, is because it's the absolute smallest one, and I kind of hoped if the manager saw it, he might think it's a Bluetooth. I could say it was a Bluetooth speaker, where the Everse looks more like a PA speaker. That's just I don't know. In the end, I didn't need to because there was no problem, but that was what was on my mind. But I do really like it. I really like it. I really like that. I really like my iLoud speakers. I really like the carbon guitar. There's not been any gear that I've got in the last couple of months that I haven't liked, but I understand that you might think that because I haven't made another video about it. And I always say in my videos, if I don't make another video, that probably means I send it back or sold it. Well, that's not the case with that speaker. And I will make a follow-up video because it got a lot of views as well. I know, obviously, that there's a lot more people interested in battery-powered speakers than there are picks and capos. So I'll definitely do that. But I recommend it. The only negative I found so far is that the casing scratches quite easily. But then again, does it really matter? Not really. But that seems like a little bit of an oversight to me. So that's your answer, GSXR 750. Thank you very much. And if you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell. It helps me out. Lee's working. Too early for a Merry Christmas. Yeah, maybe. Maybe this time next week. Rosanna just got home from work. No problem, Rosanna. I was just saying I had to go early I have to go online early today because my gig got moved from Tuesday to Monday. And the good thing about that is I now have, a clear week ahead to do some videos and things. Put another log on the fire. But don't put the D45 on the fire by mistake. Brad says, the trouble is, once they produce the ultimate guitar you're looking for, they won't be able to improve it, hence no more money. Now, I do agree with that. That's the problem with music gear. They're never going to make the ultimate piece of music gear because then they can't sell you the next version. Right? Do you agree with that? I also think it's really interesting if you look at products, how unique they are. And is that by design? Do these companies know each other? Or is it done so they make sure they do have a place in the market? I mean, if you look at the Line 6 Helix, the Kemper Stage, the Quad Cortex, and the Headrush, they all do things slightly differently. They all have their own USP, don't they? So the QC, the Quad Cortex, is small and has mic inputs, like 4 inputs, like a little mixer. The Helix is big and has the screens on it, so you know exactly where you are, and you've got lots of space to stomp on the things. The Kemper's kind of in the middle and does profiling and has an always-on tuner built in. And then the Headrush, again, is big, has a touch screen. It's like they all have a certain niche. Is that done deliberately so we all buy them all continuously like I have done in the past? I do wonder that sometimes. Why does someone not just make like one thing that does all of these things? Why is that so? I guess it is hard. I'm being a bit unfair, but why can't we do that? Now, I guess on one point you can't do that because then you won't sell any more things. You have to have a business model, right? That's why now you'll have subscriptions to Netflix and things. They can't just let you pay for Netflix once. They need you to continuously send them money to fund the business, to pay the business. So I understand that, but I also definitely realized over the last 10 years that no one's going to make a piece of gear that suits me. Like the piece of gear that would suit me would be a small box that does vocals, vocal harmonies, vocal effects, acoustic guitar geared, improves the sound of your acoustic guitar, all this kind of stuff. Now, how many people would actually buy that? Now, some of the people in the chat would buy that, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to be a big seller. So I understand that as well. But yeah, if they can't continue to improve products, how are they going to sell more of them? What's going to happen to the company? So that's a good point. Sergio said the wires annoy me. Well, I agree, but you still can't beat a wire. Like a wire is lower latency, more reliable, less chance of it dying, less chance of interference, less chance of it going wrong. Cable is always the most desired unless you need to move around. And with a wireless system, it's just another thing to plug in, another thing to recharge. Rafa's doing 3 45-minute sets. So the XSW would work for you, Rafa. It would work. 3 45 minutes would be fine for that system. Especially if you turn it off, if you remember to turn it off in between sets. They also make one which is a pedal. Obviously, you plug in with power, and then you just have the single bug. So you could, and you also plug that bug in with a USB cable to the pedal itself and charge it. So you could plug that in while you're on a break or something, or while you're setting up, and charge it a bit more. But obviously, you really want to be charged up before you go on. That's why the Line 6 system is a great design. If you have a pedal board and you have the Line 6 one on there and you have it plugged in all the time, that's a great design. But I just can't recommend something that gave me dropouts. Throw some thumbs up. They're free. Poo Ninja, I saw the Poo, not the Poo. I saw the Darth Vader toilet on Instagram. Did you see that? I'm sure you've seen it. Good point. BMO said I should write a review for the Sennheiser. Yes, yes, I should. And it's good on there because you can link to your channel. You can link to your video. So I could link to the video that I made about it years ago. Or I could even do an updated video and post it in the Sweetwater reviews. And then I'll get more reviews like that. So that's cool. Yeah, I think I will. I think that's a good idea to do that. Sell captures, profiles, and presets. Well, exactly. But then Kemper don't sell profiles, do they? So what's their business model? Line 6 do. Line 6 had the Helix, and they broke it into lots of other, smaller products and sold the presets. They got lots of ways of generating income. Kemper don't sell profiles. They just sell the unit. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Speaking of which, David, where's 2.0? What shade of guitar is best for a cover of a song based on Alice in Wonderland? I don't know, Sergio. I'll put that out to the chat. Pooh says Cheshire Cat. What color was the Cheshire Cat? I don't remember. Oh, you didn't see it. I thought you saw everything on social with the Darth Vader related. It made me laugh. Yes, well, this is what my friend said to me last night in a text message. I read something this weekend about the version 2 line 6 getting a firmware update that took care of the writer's dropout issues. Yes, a friend of mine told me he just got one of the new ones and it doesn't drop out. But I looked up reviews and people say it does drop out. I'm almost tempted to try one again to see if it drops out for me, but I don't know. I don't. They may have improved it, but I don't really want that one anyway because I've got to plug it in. I like the XSW because I don't have to plug it in, and I wish I had it here with me. I made like a little case. I bought a little zipper case that basically fits a rechargeable battery, and I plugged in 2 USB cables. And in fact, you know what? I'm gonna go get it. Just give me 1 second. I want to show you this because you're talking about wireless. You might find this helpful. I'll be right back. I need a holiday is what she said to me. I need to get away from you. And as I watched her lying next to me, I wished for a holiday too. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I wanna be there, yeah. Traveled to so many lands. Right, this was my idea, and I was going to make a video about this, and I didn't. And the reason that I didn't is that I couldn't get it quite right, what I was trying to do. So first of all, I was trying to find a pouch that would fit these units. And this fits them, but look at the problem. The problem I had is cables stick out the top. All right, so that was my first thing. I wanted to find something that would fit absolutely perfectly and be able to recommend it on Amazon. So the first problem is I couldn't. So that was the first thing. And yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine, right? I mean, I use this. It's fine. And then, of course, the zipper doesn't close all the way. But again, that's fine. You just leave the top open like that, okay? So that's cool. They're protected in there. And then what I did was I bought a battery that would fit. This one was from Amazon, and it's got a paw print on it. I don't know why. You press a button, it turns on, and it shows you that it's charging. Okay, so it's still got full battery, apparently, which is pretty impressive. And it fits in there like that. And then what I did was I bought 2 short little USB-C cables and plugged them into the top of that unit and plugged them into the XSW. This is the microphone version that I use for guest singers, right? And then I put that on the side. And then unfortunately, it is kind of hitting the battery when you close it. But I mean, I don't think it's scratched it. There might be a couple little scratches on there, but I can't see any. And that's it. So what I can do is, this gives me about 5 charges or so. So I can charge the battery with USB-C, and then I have this in my guitar case. And lately I never used to do this, but lately I've been having people sing with me. I think it's kind of fun at the right venue. I don't do it everywhere, but certain venues I'll have like guest singers come up. It can be fun, and sometimes they're really good. So what I do is, if I think I'm going to have a guest singer, I always have the backup microphone as well. It's my spare mic and my guest mic. So I have that in the bag, and then all I do is, if I think I have a guest singer, I turn this on here, and it starts to charge them. You can see they're flashing green. And then basically during the first set while I'm playing, or even on the way to the show, when I get to the show, they'll be charged, right? So then I get to the show, and all I have to do is unplug them like this. And I've got 2 charged transmitters. Like I said, this is the XLR version. And then just to prove that point, someone said they don't sync well, you just turn them on at the same time. And they flash. They look weird on here because I've got the green screen. They don't look like that in real life. So you see, and then you see they're synced. They're good to go. That is awesome. These are good. And I love these. The only thing is with these, but sometimes once I did a wedding. I did a wedding and this was on the microphone, and of course the speaker held it like this, and it kept cutting out because this needs to be clear. So this is on the end of the mic. You hold the mic here, right? And this is sticking out at the bottom of your hand. That's how it should be. And that's perfect. It works so well. But you have to make sure if you're giving this to a guest speaker, tell them not to hold it like some of them hold it like, if you hold it like this, there's no way for the signal to get out, right? I think this is great, and I love this. The other reason I didn't make a video on this is I'm worried that I don't know how that's affecting the battery of these things. And by the way, I didn't use this before. This isn't why my other system died. This is a thing I did after that happened. But I don't know how it will be leaving these plugged in, sometimes forgetting to turn it off. I don't know if I'm like frying the batteries sooner with this system. So far it's okay, so I don't think I am. I don't see why I would be, but I don't want to get in trouble. So that's why I haven't done it. And this is kind of my version 1. I wanted to find a way, I wanted to find an even more powerful battery and a case that fits even better, that's even sleeker. And then I would definitely recommend that. But yeah, I've actually charged these up before, and I've still got full battery life. I know it's weird to have that paw print there, but this is great because the reason I like this is, like I said, if I know I've got a guest speaker tonight, all I got to do is obviously, once a week, every 2 weeks, charge this thing up, which is fine. And then all I've got to do when I run out to a gig is turn that on, make sure I've got plenty of battery here, which I do. They're both charging at the same time. I put them in the case. I put that in my guitar bag or my cable bag, and I go to the gig. When I get to the gig, I've got a fully charged wireless system that's very compact and portable. So that works for me. I like that a lot. Now let me show you the new product that I saw, and because actually this is a wireless product, so this has worked out really well. It's always every week this happens. We get you ask me a question, it leads right into something. I love that. It's great. So and we were talking about NUX as well, right? We were talking about NUX. This leads in really great. Brad is version 2.5.6. Is that the beta or the official release? Okay, so NUX have a new speaker. Let's talk about it. The Mighty Space. Have you heard about the Mighty Space? Okay. So this is basically, let's just wind the clock back here. NUX released a wireless transmitter that also has an amplifier built in. I have one, and again I got interference all the time with some of this stuff. Not all the time, but some of the stuff gives me this problem, this interference, right? So I'm just trying to find a good picture of this thing. So it's very good. It sounds great. It's like the Fender one that they make. It sounds really good. But it's for me, it's a bit noisy. It doesn't drop out. It just has some digital noise. So then I heard they were releasing this one, and I got really excited because this is basically that thing that goes in the guitar that you normally wear headphones with. This is basically giving you the speaker as well, like you would get from something like the Spark amp. It also has some physical controls. It has a pedal, and it has a looper, I think, whereas the headphone version doesn't have a looper. So to me, this is the ultimate. You can use it with wired headphones, you can have a looper, and you can use it as a speaker. I think this is really exciting, and I'm thinking this will be better than the Spark because the modeling I've heard from NUX is better than the Spark so far. I was a bit worried, and this isn't out quite yet, and I was a bit worried initially because I was worried it would only be wireless because its battery is rechargeable. So I thought, oh, it might... See, again, the Spark isn't rechargeable. This is exciting. So I was worried that this would be rechargeable and wireless, and I'd have problems with noise and stuff. But you can actually plug into it with a guitar cable. With the Spark Mini is rechargeable, but the big one is not. This is like the big one, and it's rechargeable. I think NUX are doing things right, and they've got a looper built in, which the Spark doesn't. I think this will be more money, but I think it's going to sound and better and have more features, which is exciting. I'm not getting one, by the way, and I don't know if I will, but I think it's a cool product to talk about. So, like I said, the sounds of the effects and the amps are really good in the headphone unit, which I will talk about at some point in the future. And it does acoustic IRs as well. And by the way, their acoustic amp now does acoustic IRs. They just released a firmware update for that, which I'm happy about. But that doesn't do electric guitar. This does, but that one does vocals. This one doesn't. So it depends what kind of musician you are. But what you've got here is really good stuff for electric guitar. Loads of effects. Everything's very good quality. Amps. It's wireless. You can take it around the house. It comes with the wireless transmitter, or you can use a cable, which I'm happy about. You see that there, input. So you can plug a guitar straight in, but the thing will be charged up, so you can play it anywhere, which is really nice. And it has a presence control that the Spark amp does not, which is annoying. This one does. And there you go, it's got a looper built in, which a Spark amp does not. This one does. This is going to be a good product, I think. And look at the app. It has an app like the Spark does, but unlike the Spark, where everything is like set in one chain, on here, you can actually move everything anywhere that you want. So that's really cool. That's powerful. That's not in the Spark. So I think this is going to give the Spark a real run for its money. I don't think it will be as affordable or cheap, but then again, I think these additional features will make it a lot better for a lot of people. I'd much rather have one of these myself because I miss having a presence control, and I miss having a looper, and I miss the battery power. This has those three things in it, which is really great. And that's what the speakers look like. Yes, someone just said, does it have a DI out? Can you use it live? I mean, I personally would probably never use something like this live, but yes, you can, because look, there's a speaker out, and there's two foot switch controls. So I don't know if it has MIDI. Ideally, you want MIDI so you can turn the effects on and off on a foot switch, on like a wireless foot switch. I don't think this has that. It might do. I don't think it has Bluetooth. This isn't really designed for live performance. Yes, you can have a foot switch in there for the looper and also for changing the channels, but I don't think for individual effects. So I don't think this is really ideal for a live gig, but I do think this is an amazing practice tool. I suppose you could plug a pedal board into it and run the speaker out. I'm not sure what that speaker out means. I don't think it means a guitar speaker. I think it means like a line out, but I'm not sure. I just think this, to me, this is the Spark amp, but better. But I think it'll also be more expensive, possibly. And I know a lot of people like the Spark because of the price. But look what they're saying here. Look, 30 watts, IRs, effects, amps, stereo sound, 7 hours battery life, low latency. If that's true, that's impressive. The app editor. Yeah, it says system latency 1.2 milliseconds. But what about the wireless though? That can't be the same. And then here, the user manual. Well, I haven't actually seen this yet myself. So let's see what that is on the back. But yeah, this thing looks good. You've got a headphone out and a speaker out. Does it say what the speaker out does? USB-C, that's good. I don't see where it mentions the... I'm so glad it has a presence control. I don't know why the Spark doesn't have a presence control. That drives me nuts that it doesn't. Looks like it works as an interface as well. Oh no, sorry, that's for audio. Bluetooth audio streaming, which is good. So you can use it as a Bluetooth speaker. The speaker out, I don't see, it doesn't say exactly what that's for. I presume it's for a PA system. But I don't see it. But yeah, it looks, I've heard the sound of it. I've heard the sound of the other one. It sounds really good. So if this sounds like that, I mean, I'm not gonna say this will replace a Kemper or your amp, but I'm saying this is, for me, this is like a better Spark. Like they've made a Spark which is a bit better with better features and sounds, I think. But I haven't played one, but that's what I think this will be, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, this will be an interesting product. I'm not sure what the price is going to be yet, but I think this will be good. I've got a good feeling about this. And I love the headphone version. I just wish I didn't get that interference noise in it, because that's a deal breaker for me. And with this one, it comes with the wireless transmitter for your guitar, which may introduce interference for me, but it doesn't matter because you can just plug in with a guitar cable instead, which is nice. And hopefully eventually they'll fix that and make a wireless that doesn't have interference for me. But just as a straight up practice amp, rechargeable, where you plug into it, just great. Especially if you're a guitar teacher or something and you want to grab something and take it to a student's house or something. I think it's cool. What do you think of that? I think that'd be a good product. Katana Air has an acoustic mode, by the way, quite loud. Yes. I tried the Katana Air. Actually, it's a similar product to what I just showed you, and I had dropouts with their wireless system as well. I didn't think it sounded that great. I think the NUX will sound better, although, again, I haven't played one yet. So, yeah, Julian, I think it does have a DI out, but I don't think you can easily change effects on and off. So I don't think it's ideal for that. But it would, if it's got the line out, then it would, it would work for that. Yeah, I think the looper is so important. I mean, that's a practice amp, right? So the looper is just obvious to me. Skyrock, how you doing? Good to see you. New name? Fishman Loudbox Artist versus JBL EM1 Pro Compact for solo gigs. That's really tough. It's really hard to answer that. The Loudbox Artist versus the EM1 Compact. So, I haven't played... I played the Artist amp one time. The thing about that is more of an acoustic amplifier. That's more geared towards acoustic guitar. The JBL is more of a mini PA system. It's more geared towards Bluetooth playback and vocals. So it depends. If you only play acoustic instrumentals and you don't sing, I might say to lean towards the Fishman. If you sing, I'd definitely lean you more towards the JBL, because for me, those more PA-like speakers are better for vocals and other things as well. And then, like the other stuff, if you want the app control, the JBL is the way to go, because it has an app, and they're eventually going to get an even better app. It's not out yet, but they're going to bring that out soon. And then the Fishman doesn't have an app at all, but it has the physical controls. So really the question is, do you sing? Okay, you sing. I would lean towards a JBL. Do you want physical controls and no app? Think about the Fishman. You want an app to make those little changes to your sound? Get that. So then if you sing and you want the app, you're going to get the JBL. Okay. But the Fishman is good, but it's just a different product. It's a different approach, I feel. And I think it might be heavier too. And I don't think it's battery powered. So you really got to think, what features do I need? Also, check out the EV eVerse 8 as well. That's more of just a straight up PA speaker. No physical controls, but a really good app. So, okay, so you're a singer, yeah. So I would now. I don't want to say. I don't want to say the Fishman is not good for vocals because I haven't tried it, and it does have a mic input. Okay, but I've tried some acoustic amps, and they've not been that great for vocals. The sound is more like mid-rangey, more geared towards a an acoustic guitar. I'm just jumping over to the website so I can see it. Yeah, so this is the Fishman. So the Fishman, you see lots of physical controls, which some people like. It weighs a lot more. See, 25.5 pounds for something which is, and you want to use it at gigs, that's 120 watts. See, I wouldn't do that. I would get if you're going to get something that's 25 pounds in weight, I would probably get a QSC K8.2 that's 28 pounds in weight and is 2,000 watts, where this is 120 watts. Now, the QSC would have no built-in mixer. You need to take a mixer, but it would just be so much, it would just have so much more headroom, and then you can make that part of a bigger system. It really depends what you want. If it depends, it completely depends on the scenario. If you are traveling by foot on a subway and you sing and play guitar and you need battery power, then these battery powered amps like the Everse, the JBL and the Bose are the only way to go because they're light and they have the mixer built in and they're battery powered. Whereas if you tell me you're driving to your show, then their weight doesn't matter anymore. So if you tell me, well, I'm driving to a show, I'm playing acoustic guitar, I'm not singing, and I want more of an acoustic amp with physical controls, then the Fishman is obviously the way to go. It all depends on what you want. And remember, you can't have everything with this gear. You always sacrifice something. Like, I kind of wish the Everse had some basic physical controls on it. But then again, I don't need them because once I've set up my sound, I rarely change it anyway. And if I want to change it, I'd rather go into the app and have that control over the sound than just have a treble knob. Like, that's not very accurate. So a lot of it depends as well how you're traveling to and from gigs, I find. So for me, I always say, if I'm driving to a gig and I've got no back problems or anything, I would rather take a 30-pound PA speaker and a small mixer. That's what I would do. Because I'm going to have loads of control, loads of headroom, loads of sound, loads of options. But if I'm taking the train and walking, like so tonight, I'm going to walk to the gig basically. So the K8 is at the gig. That's great. I'm going to take a bag of cables and my guitar. That's fine. Right? But if I had to take the guitar, the cables, the speaker, and the stands, tonight I would take the Everse because it's I think it's the most powerful one of those lightweight speakers. Or I would take the CP8 QSC because that's got even more power and is only 3 pounds heavier than the Everse. And since my pedal has all my effects in it anyway, I don't need the effects of the Everse. But if you don't use a pedal and you need effects, then I would take an Everse because all your effects are built in. So much about this is, I almost should make like a questionnaire, you know, like, do you sing? Do you play acoustic guitar? What pickup do you have? Do you drive to the gig? Do you walk to the gig? Do you take the train to the gig? What kind of songs do you play? Do you put bass through your thing? Do you like physical controls? Do you like an app? Do you have iOS or Android? Do you have the latest iPhone? You know, if you've got a really old phone, you might have problems with connectivity. So I almost could make like a checklist, you know, and you go through and you check it out, and then I can tell you which one to buy. I should probably do that one day, like how to buy a PA system. Let's go through the checklist. Like if you want to put bass through it one day, then you want to get an 8-inch speaker like the JBL and the Everse. The Bose is only a 6-inch speaker, but if you put bass through it, you don't need that, and you want the small. You get it. So. Acoustic guitar, yes. Yeah, so the Fishman amps are good, and they do make pickups, especially piezo pickups, sound very good. And like I said, this one has Bluetooth, has headphone, has physical controls, 2 combo inputs. It's cool. But it does, to me, it sounds like, I kind of want to recommend you the Everse 8, but I think you should compare the specs of the Everse 8 with the JBL, and maybe the Bose S1 Pro. They're your kind of battery-powered options if you need battery power. If you don't need battery power and you use like a pedal into something, you just need the sound, you don't need the mixer, or you want to take a little mixer with you, then go for like a CP8 QSC or an 8.2 QSC. I was doing a mic for a while, and I was taking a single QSC 8.2, which sounded phenomenal in this big noisy bar. And I was also taking one of these little mixers that I've reviewed on my channel by Elite Acoustics. And it was just amazing. These are nice too, these Behringer Flow mixers. I haven't tried one, but people say they're really good. But you can get the Elite Acoustics, little tiny mixer with 4 inputs and all the controls there. And physical, like hybrid, so physical and digital in one thing. But that sounded incredible. Like that, the guitar, the mic, and the bass into the QSC just sounded out of this world. And it's so portable because the mixer fit in my guitar bag. So the mixer, the power for the mixer, and the cable to plug in the mixer fit in the guitar bag. And then you just throw the speaker up there, plug in that little mixer into one of the inputs. You still have another input available straight in on the speaker for like a bass or something. And then you have your 4 inputs on the little mixer, which weighs nothing. That is a portable and powerful system. That's incredible. But of course, some people say to me, I don't want that. I want everything in one box and I need battery power. Well, at that point, yeah, get the Everse. That's the way to go. But I believe in having more power than you need. Like, it's great to have a 2,000 watt speaker, because then if you find yourself at some situation where they say, hey, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, we want it loud, you know, not that that ever happens, but if it does happen, then you can do it. So look, you're telling me you don't need battery power and you've got a pedal board already with your effects. So my advice is to jump all that then and just go for the do you drive or you take the train? If you drive to gigs, just get one of these, K8.2. And then the great thing with this is that it's $849, but it's 2,000 watts. It's really powerful. And if you ever need to make a full PA system, you can just buy another one and have 2 speakers and have a full PA for any band gig, which is great. If you want something a bit cheaper and a little bit lighter than that, then go for the CP8, which is their kind of budget version, but still more powerful than the battery powered speakers and actually cheaper, which is cool. I have one of these. I don't like this as much as the K8. If you can get the K8, get the K8, but this is much lighter and it's really good. So I think you should look at one of these if you're looking at spending like $500. Definitely. You drive. Okay, you drive to a gig and you're looking at spending $700 on a battery powered speaker, then get the 8.2. Get a QSC 8.2. Yeah, this is what I have. This is really good. And then, like I said, the cool thing with this is it will do any bar. Stick that on a stand, on a pole. It'll do any bar. And then if you ever get into a situation where you're in a band or something and you want a full PA system, buy another one and you've basically got enough there to do a wedding or a party or anything like that. So that's what I would do. And by the way, if you're going to buy from Sweetwater, I'll give you my affiliate link in the chat. And even if you're not in the USA, click that link for me, because they like it when they see people clicking on my links. So click on that link and have a shop around anyway. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. It's interesting, isn't it, with this gear stuff? Like, it very much matters on the person. That's the problem when I do like a review. I can't tell you if it's good for you. I can only tell you if it's good for me and who it's good for. It's really interesting on these live chats to actually be able to ask you like what your application is. Like with Rafa and Skyrock, it's really, really interesting just to ask, like they just got me thinking of these questions. Like, do you drive? Do you walk? Do you play acoustic? Do you play a K&K pickup? Do you play a lyric pickup? Do you play a microphone pickup? What, you know, it's not just one size fits all. And like I said earlier, so much gear is so different to other products. You need to know exactly what the application is to know what to recommend. So, yeah, I think you'll be very happy with that. Like I said, if you're driving and you don't mind carrying 30 pounds, or there's a tote bag as well you can buy. If you're driving and you don't mind carrying 30 pounds of weight, and you don't mind, you want a pole for the speaker stand for the other ones anyway. So buy a speaker stand, buy the bag for it to protect it and keep it in good condition. They do have some firmware updates as well. I updated mine recently. Not all the time, like every couple of years. There was one that came out that did some stuff. Very easy to do. If you buy from Sweetwater, you could even ask Sweetwater to update the firmware for you, so to save having to do that. I think. I'm just speaking for them. I don't know. But the thing about that is you've just got this awesome power and headroom that will just do any bar. Right? Any bar that'll be fine for. And then, like I said, you can add another one. It's always that thing about the headroom that's the problem. Like people buy the cheaper, not always cheaper, but people buy the battery-powered speakers. They're never going to have the headroom, are they? They're just never going to have the volume that a dedicated actual PA speaker has in it. So, you got another question, my friend. Look at this. Are you doubting that? What about the QSC 8.2 versus the Eon 1 Mark II? Well, the Eon 1 Mark II is cool, but you said you don't need battery power. So I wouldn't go that route. I would consider the PRX. But this makes it even harder, because this is $1,700. All right, this will give you a little bit more volume, in my experience, than that single PA speaker. It will give you the sub. So if you want that low end, you'll get that. This will give you the built-in mixer, but you told me you don't necessarily need that. So this might be overkill. But yeah, if you can swing the 1700 and you think you might need more inputs in the future, and you want this kind of system that has the subwoofer, this is probably a better way to go. Then you don't have to buy the speaker stand either, because you don't need a speaker stand because everything's built into one unit. And it has more dispersion. It does sound better, I think, for throwing out the sound. But what you can't do is, like, in the future, you can't just like add, well, I guess you could buy another one. But the reason I recommend the PA type speakers like the QSC is that you can just add another one. It's like a modular thing. So if you have a rock band, you can add another one and have that as the PA for the rock band. If you only ever do solo gigs, oh, sorry, I took it off the screen. If you only ever do solo gigs, you probably should get something like this, because it is truly all in one. But like I said, it's a lot more money. And if you don't want the mixer, you don't want the subwoofer, I don't know. And I don't think the other one, the battery-powered version of this that you asked about first of all, that is not quite as loud in my experience as the single QSC speaker. But this is. For me, this was a bit louder and a bit more spread. So I don't know. That's another way that you could go. Yeah, it's another way you could go. I might recommend this to a duo that wants multiple inputs. They just, if it's you and a bass player and you want to and you both sing and you want to show up and just put this down and plug in and go, I would get this. If you're a solo artist and you've got a pedal board already, I don't see the need to, unless you want the low end, unless you want the subwoofer, because you're not going to get such good low end out of the QSC as you do from this. I personally usually cut low end anyway, so I wouldn't really care. But if you want, like, so say you use a kick drum pedal or backing tracks that have bass guitars, you'd want to get this, definitely. So hopefully between those two, you can make a informed decision. Yeah, I saw that too on Sweetwater. They've got some Green Monday sale. I don't know what that is. Green Monday. Is that like a Christmas thing? For bigger venues, no, the QSC will be as loud. I compared them. I compared the PRX one that I just showed you. I used at an outdoor gig, and I also used a single 8.2 at an outdoor, the same venue, and the 8.2 wasn't quite as loud. It wasn't like night and day, but it didn't do quite as good a job. It didn't spread the sound. It wasn't quite as loud, but considering it's just one box, it certainly was impressive. That's a different thing again, though. If you're only playing outside and covering large areas, you might want to go a different route. I don't know. It depends on the venues. Certainly, if you're playing solo in any bar, a single 8.2 will get you through anything. And if you don't want that subwoofer, if you don't want the built-in mixer, you want to save some money, that's the way that I would go. And if you want something that will be part of a modular, traditional PA in the future, that's the way I would go. If you think I'm a solo artist, I want the single all-in-one tower system, I would look at that PRX. I wouldn't go for the battery one. It's not as loud as I think of what you want. Some players don't want volume. Some players don't need volume. The PRX one has that volume, and also there's options from Bose and also EV as well. Do them too. Different approach. Depends which way you want to go. Exactly. Now there's actually Poo Ninja. There's actually a local venue, and I was gonna approach them and say, like, can I bring my PA system out there and like set it up and see what happens? Like, I need to turn it up. I need to do like volume tests, you know. QSC stand. Just remember the QSC, you're gonna have to buy a speaker stand and also the bag for the speaker as well. Brian says, I ended up buying 2 S1 Pros. Spreads out the sound, also have the extra speaker in case one goes down. Yes. I'm so addicted to battery power. People always want to put you away from outlets. True. True. I carry an extension cable with me, and my power cable for my speaker is also an extra long one. So I never have a problem with reaching an outlet. But battery power is attractive. You know, it's a nice luxury to have, isn't it? When you can just, I also like, if you only do parties and you run in there, it's really cool. You run in the party and you pull the speaker out of the case and you just put it on the table and you just turn it on and press play on your phone and music starts to play. Whereas with another system, you might have to go in, take the speaker out of the bag, put it on the pole, plug it into ask where the outlet is, plug it into the power, plug in your phone with a wire or a Bluetooth module, hit play. It's like a long process. So I get the appeal of that. But on the other side of that, the stuff you plug in, a bit like the wireless stuff we spoke about earlier, it's always more, on paper, it's always more reliable, and it always has more volume because it's not being determined by a battery pack. It's plugged straight into the wall. So I see the appeal of both, and that's why I have both. How much do you want to spend? Of course, yeah. That CP8 at $500 is a great deal for a pro piece of audio gear. But I would personally save up and get the K8.2. You're welcome. And again, if you're new here, subscribe, ring the bell, and click my affiliate links. Even if you don't buy anything, it helps me out. The Bose tower system always hurts my ears. You're not standing in front of it so often. Yes. Well, the idea with the tower systems is supposed to be that you stand 10 feet in front of it, and what you hear is what the person 100 feet away hears as well. That's what's supposed to happen. I haven't tried those Bose towers yet, so I don't know. They're supposed to have the best dispersion and throw, which is important with the speaker as well. I haven't tried that personally. Yeah, so there's so many approaches, even to just a basic PA system now. It's kind of crazy. I guess there's lots of things to make videos about. Sergio wants the universal audio. I love that. I love their stuff. The Volt. Yeah, I've not tried that, but I've heard about it. The price is normal. Sweetwater does not work in Russia. Yes. I do have Thomann in the description below in the video. I have Thomann links. I don't know if they send to Russia though. I have one, Poo Ninja. No one ever clicks on it, but I have one. In the chat, I have Sweetwater, which is my main one, Amazon, which is pretty good, but it's only USA, and Thomann. So that's how I cover, so I've got Sweetwater for USA, Thomann for Europe, and Amazon USA. It all helps. It all helps. Yes. Well, it's funny you should say that, David. I'm going to make the video about it. So David actually recommended me a liability insurance firm, and I got a quote from them. And it was very, very, very good. It was less than what I was paying previously. And it was so interesting because people are now asking me, well, not lately, but that week we had that discussion on the channel about this. People were asking me, do I have insurance? So I did get it, and thanks to David for sending me that link. And I'm going to make a video all about it. I'm actually just going to make like a story, the story of how that came about. I'm going to say I used to have it, and then I cancelled it during the lockdown, and then I started doing gigs again. I got asked if I have it, so I went looking for a new one, and I found one which is cheaper than the one that I had. And of course, I can't tell you which of those is actually the better company because I've never had to make a claim. Thankfully, it's the funny thing with insurance, you hope that you don't have to use it, right? But I do think it's really important for musicians and performers to have this stuff, because if someone trips over a cable, they can sue you. Now, I know what you're going to say, you smart Alex out there. You're going to say, well, I use wireless systems, so no one can trip over my cables. But that's not the point, because they might trip over your guitar case, or they might trip over your PA stand, or they might trip over, something might happen. So anyway, even if that's not an issue, some venues will say to you, do you have this insurance? And I think it's important that we have it. In my opinion, you don't have to, but I think that warrants its own video for sure. And I'm going to have a link with them as well, hopefully, so you can click that link and then it'll work the same as my... It's not technically an affiliate link. I don't know what the technical term is yet, so I won't say it, but I'm going to have a link with them. I like the Sweetwater store. It's strange that I didn't pay attention to it before. I will look for solutions on how to buy from Russia. We have crazy prices. Yeah. See if Thomann will ship to you. I don't know. My neighbor knocked on my door at 2:30 a.m. Lucky for him, I was still up testing my PA system. Oh dear. Insure your gear. Yeah, I need to do that too. So I actually, as part of the liability policy, I paid for the instrument protection as well. So if someone breaks your guitar, you're covered up to $5,000 for that. So I've done that as well. But you also want to make sure the stuff you have at home is insured, of course. Maybe covered by your homeowners. And even if it is, Pooh, make sure obviously you document the value and what everything's worth. Like, do you even know what your stuff is worth? That's important to know. Ryan said they might trip over all the wrong notes I'm playing. No, it's actually really, I find it really, I know it's so boring, isn't it? Liability insurance is so boring. We want to talk about the new amplifiers, the new guitars. But I know a lot of people who watch my channel are full-time performers like myself. And I think this is really important stuff, not only because venues now are asking for it more and more and more, as I've found out myself from personal experience, but also because you don't want to get sued if someone trips up. It could happen, right? How many, I bet you can tell me now how many times you've been playing a gig and something has happened where you've thought, oh my God, that could have got really bad. I bet you can tell me. I bet you know, right? I bet it's happened to you that you've been playing and someone's tripped, or they've been drunk or walking over something. You just thought to yourself, oh, or they've even have tripped and almost fallen over. I bet we've all got those stories, right? Exactly. It's boring until something happens. Yeah. No, I think it's really important. And also, don't forget, just to get even more boring, something like that, like a liability insurance policy, is something that you can put in with your taxes in April. I'll talk about America here. Tax season is April. Tax deadline is April the 1st, right? It's April 1st, around that time. But that's something that you can put in as a deductible as well. So you can put in for your instruments, your strings, your picks, your gas, your cell phone, your studio, and you can also put in insurances like liability insurance, instrument insurance. This is all stuff that will help you make deductions when it comes around to that time. Now, see, that's funny to me because part of my brain says that's really boring as well. But on the other hand, it's not, because that's information that could save you hundreds of dollars a year, right? Ryan says, how do you combat gear acquisition syndrome? Currently fighting urge to buy stuff. That's a real tough one, isn't it? I guess I don't, I guess I've accepted that I like to buy and sell gear, and often I lose money on it, unfortunately. Another reason I have the channel, because at least I can also make some content from it as well. The the answer really is not to buy stuff or to buy used. You buy used, and then at least you might either make a small profit, break even, or lose a little bit of money. Try not to buy brand new, even though it's fun to do, but essentially that's always where you lose the most money. Also, I've had a lot of products in the last 12 months that had kind of issues anyway. So it's like, why did I buy that new when it had a weird sort of cosmetic issue? Could have just bought it used and saved a bunch of money. So there's not really an answer, Ryan. I think it's good to, they say like freeze the credit card. I think it's good to take a step back and think, do I really want that? Do I really need that? What's that going to give me that I don't have already? But essentially, it's a hobby, isn't it? And that's also what it comes down to. It's more of a hobby than it's not. We're not talking about creating music as such here. We're talking about gear and insurance and all that other sort of stuff. So I don't know the answer, but I don't know, maybe make a YouTube channel about it. That could help. April 5th, that's right, yeah, April 15th. It wouldn't be April the 1st, so that would be a complete joke, wouldn't it? Replacement cost. I filed all my gear a few years back and got a call to add photos to insure, yeah. I don't have much high value, but I have a lot of stuff that's less than $200 US. So yeah, you need to have like serial numbers, original receipts, and things like that. If you're a musician who gigs for money, you need to learn about how to do a Schedule C. Yeah, I agree. In fact, that's another video that I would make. When I say these things are boring, I'm kind of half joking, because they're not as fun as talking about Quad Cortex 2.0, but it's something that could, save you money and keep you out of legal trouble. So it's really important. And who knows, maybe some people will find it fun. I feel like when a musician finds out they can save money for, they can claim for their cell phones and their iPads and their mileage and their haircuts and all that. But once a musician realizes that becomes a lot of fun, because it's a lot of fun on tax day when you say, look, this is all my expenses and this is what I made. And you realize that you didn't know you could claim for taxis. In fact, I had one accountant that said I couldn't claim for taxis, and one accountant said I could claim for taxis. So some of it depends on your accountant. But the fact is, it's good to know what you should be putting down. I've spoken to people over the years that didn't realize you could claim for like haircuts. You can claim for a haircut. People don't know that. You can claim for a part of your studio. So like in here, I just got the new monitors. So that's obviously a business thing, right? They're for my business. So that's a deductible. Doesn't mean you get them free. It just means that you pay less tax at the end of the year. So I think that could be a really fun video. I don't see people talking about it. So I think that is something that I'll do. But I think I'll start with the liability insurance, and I think I think closer to tax season, I'll do a video about taxes as well. What I'd like to do is have like a musician's specialist accountant on here, but someone really fun who can just answer those questions, like just answer the hard questions, like, can I claim for this? Why can't I claim for that? What's this? What's that? What's that mean? What's this mean? And keep it fun. Exactly, Sergio. And there is if you're a business, if you have a business, if you're a full-time musician, or even part-time, if you have a business, this is stuff that you can claim for. It's really important to know that. Doesn't mean you can buy more stuff thinking that you can claim for it next year, but it is something that will help you. And like Lee says, when you add up the cost of all your gear, you realize you need insurance. Yes. Yeah, that is probably something that I should do. That's really interesting with stage clothes. With stage clothes, it amazes me how you can claim for haircuts and you can claim for taxis and you can claim for food, but the stage clothes are very difficult. I've always been told you have to prove they are only worn at gigs. So I'm wearing this tonight, right? I've worn this for today's video. This is part of my business, right? And I'll wear it tonight at my gig. That's my business. But the fact that I'll wear it tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, because it means I haven't washed it. The fact that I'll wash it and wear it on Thursday to go grocery shopping means that I shouldn't claim for it, apparently. So that's interesting to me. Because there are clothes, I mean, this is a bad example, but there are clothes we buy, like suits. If you buy a suit for your wedding band, to me, that's a business expense. But they'll say no, because you might wear that for dinner on Saturday night. That's not an expense anymore. That's the only gray area for me that I've had is that one with the clothes. Now I'm thinking about how I'm going to connect the Volt interface with the mixer. These thoughts give me pleasure. And John says, how has the Everse been at gigs? So, to be honest, I've only used it at 2 gigs, but it was absolutely fine. The first gig, I felt like it was as good as the CP8 and had a lot, noticeably more headroom than my other speakers. But then the second gig, I felt like maybe it was starting to give up a little bit earlier than I was hoping. But at the end of the day, it's not as powerful as the CP8, and the CP8 is not as powerful as the 8.2. I would say the Everse they've got a bit more headroom than the others, and I like that. I like the app as well. In fact, I like everything about it. What they did there is they released a product that was good to go, not like the Quad Cortex or whatever. They released something where, and even JBL, like they're still tweaking their app. I love JBL, I love the stuff, but they're still tweaking their app. And I'm sure when they're done, it most likely will be better than the others. But it was very refreshing with Everse. You buy it, take it out of the box, you turn it on, and it connects, and the app is good and very polished, and the features are nice, and everything just works well, and you're just good to go. And that's a nice thing. So I like it. But yes, it's like, was it $700? So I don't know. It's if you need a battery-powered speaker and you want app control, then that's probably the way to go. I'll just say that. Yeah, if you have your name embroidered on a shirt, you could claim it's advertising. Yes, then you could. Aaron Short, singer, guitarist. You're right. Like Elton John, they were stage clothes, right? When Elton John had those clothes made for his gigs, they were a tax deduction. But when you're in Squeeze and you get up there in jeans and a shirt, that's hard to prove you're not going to wear that somewhere else. So I've been told that by several accountants. It has to be clothing that you could not wear anywhere else. It has to be something where like you're not going to wear that down the pub. That is for a stage show. And that's the only thing I've ever been told about that stuff. Now with taxis, some said I couldn't claim anything. Some said I could claim it. And I think you should be able to claim for a taxi because how are you going to get your equipment to a gig otherwise, right? So interesting stuff. And I will, yes, like I said, I will make a video about that. And I'll try and set up some I think it'd be really good to have some business people on. I used to teach music business, believe it or not, in London. I taught music business. So I think it'd be really good to have someone on here to talk specifically about how musicians deal with their business. Like, how do you save money? How do you do your accounts? What insurances do you need or should you have? Is it worth joining the union? I used to love that stuff. Back in England, I used to love. I was in the musicians' union. They were very vocal about that stuff. They were very helpful. It was really fun. I've not heard many great things about the musicians' union in America. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it because I heard a few negative things. I haven't looked into it, but that's not really fair. Maybe they're really good. Maybe they'd be a good maybe they'd be a good organization to have on the channel to talk about that stuff. I don't know. I need to find the right person that's very just like down to earth and just like sort of layman's terms. At the same time, I don't really want to get into like legal stuff on my channel in case I say the wrong thing. When I do the video on the insurance, that's gonna be a script, and I would never do a script for any video on my channel, but because it's legal advice essentially, I'm gonna have the company read it and approve it. Because I don't want to say, hey, and Lee, if you buy this, that's a full write-off on your taxes. And Lee, you don't need insurance if they trip over your case because that's covered. And someone trips over your case and you sue me. So I think that makes a lot of sense to have a script for that video. So don't give me a hard time if I'm reading that from a script. Yeah, I need to look into the musicians union here. I just haven't looked into them because of the things that I heard, and that's not the right way to do things. All right, I need to wrap up because I have a gig. I'm going to a gig tonight. I'm going to be playing the Cole Clark, I think, and I'm going to be using my TC Voice Live 3 Extreme into the K.8, 8K 8.2 at the venue, and I'm going to run because I have that in front of me so it doesn't blast the people behind me because those speakers actually send a lot of volume out behind them. I then run in-ear monitors at that gig. And in-ear monitors are still not my favorite way of doing things, but they work well. They have some benefits. They have some pros. They have some pros and cons like everything else, but it works well, and it gives me the opportunity to really hear everything very clearly, which is cool. So look out for some videos this week. I'm definitely going to have time to make them. I've got lots of things to do. I'm going to do the giveaway, so look out for the giveaway if you want to enter to win that. All you're going to have to do is comment on that video when it's up. Look out for that review. Excuse me. Look out for the video of Rain Song we're shooting tomorrow. That'll be on their channel. Look out for other stuff. I'll try and do some updated videos on the Everse and these other things we've been talking about today as well. So, as always, just subscribe and ring the bell. That's the best way to find out about new content. Subscribe and ring the bell like that. If you're shopping for any gear and you don't mind using my affiliate links below, please do. And I'll see you next Monday at the regular time, hopefully, for the Q&A. And I'll look forward to chatting with you in the comments this week in some videos. Lee, thanks for moderating. I appreciate it. And thank you to Rosanna as well. Appreciate your support. And Cole Clark, that was the sample C. Oh, that's right. I didn't even speak about that today. I did the comparison of the carbon fiber and the wood guitars. I'll put the answers to that out this week as well in the comments of that video. And I might even make a video about that experiment because it actually was very interesting. I might make a video this week called Does Tone Wood Matter at All on Acoustic Guitars? Because that will ruffle some feathers, and I'll talk about the results of that video. I completely forgot about that. Thanks. Would love to hear the pros and cons on the in-ears. Yeah, we'll talk about that in another stream, definitely. You're welcome, Skyrock. If you do get one of those things, thank you, Josh, for subscribing. Skyrock, if you do get one of those systems, let me know how it is. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not guaranteeing that my suggestion will be the right one. I can't do that because I'm not you. But if you do end up getting something, my first advice is get it from somewhere like Sweetwater where you get that good return policy and really try it out well at your shows in person. And if you do get something, do report back and let me know what you thought of it. And if you thought, if my advice was useful, that would be good to know as well. Brad says, I play guitar. And, oh yes, David, thanks for reminding me of that. Those results will be up this week. And I think the results will be so shocking that might warrant its own video discussing are we crazy to not buy more carbon fiber guitars, basically. We'll see. I don't want to give too much away, so watch out for that. I'll put those results in the comment section, and I think I'll then make a video about it as well and mention the results and talk about does any of this stuff really matter. Of course, I'm half kidding because I love the whole kind of vintage thing and the way this, I love the way it smells. I love all that stuff. I'm never going to say that stuff doesn't matter to me, but that's very interesting when you play these two guitars like carbon and wood to someone and they're a seasoned player and they can't tell which is which. That has to mean something, right? It has to mean something. Sergio, enjoy your tea. Make one for me. I like peppermint. Thank you very much. Have a good night, Brad. Good to see you again. And like I say, stay subscribed and follow the channel for more information. Videos coming this week. Might do a live stream. No, I won't say too much because I won't do it. I'll let you down. I might go live randomly this week or next week as well. Might do some songs. Don't know though. I might not. So we'll see. But I'll be around. So watch out for the channel. Keep an eye on the channel. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Thank you.
I'm not